So last year, I went through a 5-month-long yoga program, and it completely changed my idea of what being a human means. Let me explain. See, this was a 21-week Hatha Yoga Teacher Training program which was conducted by Isha Foundation. Hatha Yoga, or even just yoga for many people, is just twisting and turning your body and getting into weird postures.
Tuck your legs in front. Bring out the right leg. Bring out the left leg. Breathing in, dropping the hands down to the front and moving into Ichiyas dog. And then from here, folding the hands, breathing in, falling back and moving into sloth.
On the other hand, you'll find a bunch of white folks talking about chakras or kundalini, and we're doing none of that here. Because people just spill out words without even understanding the gravity of these terminologies. And I don't even think I'm fit to utter these words because none of it is in my experience. So, no jargons. This is just going to be a testimony of my experience of attending this goldmine of a program and how it fundamentally changed me and my idea of being human. So firstly, to set some context, this is what a day would look like in the program. We had to get up at 4:30 in the morning. Some crazy ones got up even earlier. We were given some extremely potent Hatha Yoga practices at its purest form, about which I'll not be going in detail individually. But you can just Google them and get a lot of information about each practice. So doing all these practices would take us around 3.5 hours. And then we had to do our kriyas. Kriyas are energy processes that we were initiated into. So around 4 to 5 hours of continuous intense sadhana in the morning, after which we were kept busy some way or the other until we had to do almost all the Hatha Yoga practices again in the evening. For starters, to put it bluntly, it was around 7 hours of eyes closed but aware of your breath, aware of various aspects of yourself and the process that you're doing. 7 hours of this almost every day for 5 months. This works on your system at multiple levels that you're not even aware of. And it breaks so many aspects of your pre-existing limitations. Limitation is a very important word in the context of this video. Here we'll analyze the word limitations using the concept of friction. Friction in the context of two planes, the body and the mind. We'll be using the word friction both literally and metaphorically. So literally speaking, friction is a force which is present wherever there's physicality. So if something tangible or physical exists, there is friction. So if we look at it experientially, friction is something which has resistance or something which just exists, right? Okay, see, you close your eyes and rub your hands. Something exists experientially only because there is friction, right? You put oil, less friction, less noticeable in terms of your experience. So you're conscious of only what is noticeable and the rest you leave unnoticed. So in the context of body, what are we conscious of? Whatever is most noticeable is what we are full of in terms of awareness, right? Let's say you fall sick or you have a headache. In terms of awareness, the headache takes over and everything else takes a backseat. Our bodies have millions of intricate mechanisms that make it function the way it functions. The more friction in these mechanisms, the more noticeable your body is in your experience. This noticeability can be anything from pain, lethargy, laziness, or even chronic ailments that are in your body. Again, when we say noticeable, you must understand that rigidity is noticeable, pain is noticeable, lethargy is noticeable, or anything chronic is noticeable. In this case, friction is noticeable. It takes over your process of experiencing your body. These compulsions and limitations become your identity at some point. See, at some level, what you experience becomes your identity, right? In this case, it's your body. Your body is your identity. With enough sadhana, you reach a point where you notice that there are instances where you are able to transcend these limitations, where you sit down and your body completely disappears from your experience. All your receptors work just fine. So if someone pinches you, you feel it, but if left undisturbed, we are talking about a point of least resistance where your body practically disappears. And one is able to sit for hours on end in this state without any bodily hindrance. In fact, it's not uncommon for yogis of this culture to sit unmoving in different states for days. The drop in metabolism counters the need to excrete or consume food. This may not be in line with today's scientific consensus, in spite of there being innumerable anecdotal records. At least sitting for hours is a reality for many who are practicing. See, you reach optimum flexibility so that you're able to transcend your experience of body. There's no identification with the body now since you don't experience it. So now imagine you close your eyes and your body disappears. Now there's another layer to this analogy, the mind. Just like in the case of your body, you're conscious of what is noticeable. Here, what's noticeable is your thoughts. Your thoughts are nothing but data that you've accumulated throughout your life. This data becomes your identity. This limited data that we're talking about is what you're experientially full of. The data is so limited that it creates a certain block that we call our personality. Your personality is nothing but a concoction or a set recipe of your compulsions and your limited identity. Compulsions because you're a certain kind of person and your actions become a compulsive reaction to this data. You take decisions as a consequence of the personality that you are. Because even you being a certain kind of a person is a concretization. Basically what you do shows who you are because it is a compulsive reaction to the limited data. Now imagine, just like your body disappearing, a certain gap develops between you and your mind. We are literally breaking this concretization called personality. We are basically moving from being a person to a presence. We just become existence because that's what we are. We are full of these distractions in the form of friction in our body and mind that most people realize only when they pop something. Even then there is no clarity. Here you're so clear that you're not only physically flexible, the flexibility is also mental. You're so flexible that you don't generally react to the situations around you. It makes absolute sense when you see people just bouncing back from their mental health issues. So because you get a bird's eye view of what's going on and you're so aware of what's happening within you. Your emotional state basically depends on the various chemical changes that are happening within you, within your body. So instead of influencing this chemistry through prescriptive drugs, we are talking about consciously changing the chemistry within you with absolute clarity of thought. Physically speaking, I had a bad case of chronic sinusitis all my life. So bad that if I just shook my head, it was just hell. And I had this special ability of being able to sleep for 12 hours straight and still be tired during the day. And now there are days where I'm comfortable with just 4 or 5 hours of sleep. And I think this standard 8 hours sleep for everyone is just complete bullshit. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying you should push yourself to reduce the amount of sleep that you're getting. I'm just saying it is possible to figure out a way to increase the efficiency of your body so that the energy that it consumes is relatively very less. And as a result, the recovery becomes very easy. And I've also seen people come out of their ailments because of these practices. And nowadays it's very common to see doctors prescribing asanas. Do this asana for your gut health, do this asana for your digestion, do this asana for your heart health, do this asana to get better sleep and all that. But that's not the point. Health is not the goal here. Health is just a side effect of yoga. When your body or mind is functioning at its optimum level, it becomes a bridge to transcend. The primary difference between an animal and a human is that the animal is enslaved to its instinct and its compulsions, but a human has the ability to choose. But this potential is not recognized by people today. I think it's safe to say that every problem that we are facing as a humanity is a result or a consequence of compulsive decisions that are taken by humans. We don't give importance to consciousness. Every decision we take, from something as important as our career choice to something as simple as what we are going to have for dinner, is a compulsive decision. It's not that by going through a program like this you're going to completely destroy your compulsions, nor are you going to deal with your limited identity. It's just that these 5 months have given me a glimpse of the possibilities of being human. A possibility which is not present in any other animal, something which Western anthropology fails to recognize. There is a reason why humans are bipedal. There is a reason why humans have the lumbar curve. It is not a coincidence that yoga studies the spine in an extensive manner. It is said that in the yogic tradition, an individual gets initiated into Hatha Yoga and trains for 12 years straight. It is mind-blowing when you recognize the amount of energy that this land has invested in the exploration of consciousness. So at the end of the day, yoga is not just some practice that you do. Yoga means union. Yoga is just you realizing that you're just existence, but with an individual experience. In other words, yoga is just existence. A rock might not have an individual experience. An animal does not know it has an individual experience. Here a human acts as a bridge between this ignorance and realization. This is something that I'm working on. I'm working on cultural aspects that contribute to consciousness. I'll probably be posting videos in the future. Videos on anthropology, linguistics, social sciences, maybe even music. At the end of the day, everything is yoga, if you know what I mean.